Good morning, Algebra. Today's Wednesday, May 8th, 2020. Hope you guys are doing okay. Got a nice day today, so enjoy it. All right, just get your notebook set up. Just make sure you can see everything. All right, so pause and do that now. All right, you're back. Okay, so number one, a plant is 5 inches tall at week 0. It grows 3 inches per week, and it grows 3 inches per week. Using f of n instead of a sub n, write an explicit formula using the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is when you're at the 0 term. So I want you to pause and do that now. Okay, so you're back. So they gave it, it's week 0, so this is the y-intercept right here. The 5 inches is the y-intercept. And it's growing 3 inches per week. This is going to be arithmetic because you're adding 3 each time. So let's just write what would happen here. So you're starting at 5, you're adding 3, so you go to 8, 11, and 14, and so on. So this is your 0 term, first term, second term, third term. Okay, so we're going to do f of n instead of a sub n equals, you are going to use your y-intercept. So we're going to write this as y equals mx plus b. Your slope is 3, just use n instead of x, plus 5. So that's your y-intercept. So that's mx plus b, slope, and then there's your y-intercept. It's that simple. Okay. B, using f of n instead of a sub n, write an explicit formula using the arithmetic formula. Okay, pause and do that now. All right, you're back. Just to review, the arithmetic would be a sub n equals a sub 1 plus the common difference times n minus 1. All right, that's the formula you're working from, but you're going to use f of n instead. Your first term is not 5. Your first term is 8. You'd have to move to that first term. 8 plus the common difference is your slope, so that's 3. And anytime you're using the first term, you use n minus 1. And that's explicit. Notice the explicit, it only has the f of n on one side, and then it just has the n. Only the f of n on one side, because you have to recognize that as compared to recursive. Okay, so using f of n as after and f of n minus 1 as before, write a recursive formula. Okay, so pause and do that now. All right, you're back. So this is your after, that goes by itself on the left side. So that's f of n equals, and then you take your before, and then you look at what happened to that before. What happened to the before? You added 3 to it each time. So you simply just add 3, just like a third grader or second grader would. And then on the second line, you have to say what the first term is. The first term is not 5, I'm sorry. The first term is 8. You have to be careful on that. First term is 8. Okay, so now let's look at this for a minute. If you did this, would it represent what's happening here? It wouldn't have the 5 at all if you were to write it that way. So could you, the ones that we gave you always start with the first, but could you make this the 0 and then put the first term here? I don't have my white out. You'd make that a 5 instead. Okay, so I want you to write the f of 1, but that wouldn't show you that at 0 would be 5. You really want to duplicate what the problem is saying. The problem starts at week 0 with the 5. So you'd write f of 0 is equal to 5 to show exactly where you're starting. And that will show you that. And then this tells you to keep adding 3 and makes the rest of the sequence. Okay, so let's look at number 2 now. All right, gives you a pattern in a table. Write an exponential equation, also known as a blank equation. What's another word for exponential that you learned? Pause and write that. All right, that would be geometric. It's a geometric equation sequence, okay? All right, so we're going to do the equation. So it is starting with the first term. You can back up to the y-intercept. So you can do a sub n equals a sub 1 times the common ratio to the n minus 1. That's the general formula. Or you could do a sub n equals, there's no like name for this, which is the y-intercept r to the n. You could write it that way. So you could do either one. All right, so pause and do that now. Okay, I'm going to use your back. I'm going to use this one because it gave me the first term, so why even bother backing up? So I'm going to write a sub n equals 3,000. The common ratio, what are you multiplying by each time? You're multiplying by 2 each time. So the common ratio is 2 raised to the n minus 1. And there's my equation. Okay. You could have also written or a sub n equals, and you would just take half of 3,000, which is 1,500. And that would be your zero term. So some of you may have written 1,500 times 2 raised to the n. Either one would be okay. Okay, predict at 7 days. I'm going to use the one I started with. So I'm going to do a sub 7 equals 3,000 parentheses 2 to the 7th power. Take my calculator. Okay, so it's 3,000 parentheses 2 raised to the x minus 1. But instead of x, I'm going to put 7. So to the 7 minus 1, enter, and I get 192,000. So a sub 7 equals 192,000 people. Okay, and there's that one. All right, this one you know how to do, but you won't know the wording. Jack invested $2,000 in a savings account at a 2.3% annual interest rate. The interest was compounded annually. Find to the nearest cent the balance after 6 years. Okay, so what does interest mean? Interest means, let's just say you have a bank account right here, right? You go into the bank and you give them $2,000. So here's your bank. So you think that you have a vault with your name on it with $2,000 in it. It doesn't work that way. The bank then takes your money and gives it out to some guy, Bill, let's just say, okay? And lends out your money because the money just keeps rotating around. Then if you came to get your money, the bank may give you someone else's money. They're basically paying you to use your money. So what they do is they give you like an extra $5, let's say, in your bank account to lend it out to Bill. They're paying you, this is your interest, they're paying you interest so they can use your money for other people. So this money keeps going in and they're circulating. So the bank is basically working off of other people's money most of the time. They do have some backup money, but that's how it works. So they're paying you an interest. So they do it as a percent. So your interest rate is a percent. In this case, it would be 2.3% of your money. But compounded annually means this. So let's just say, using this example, let's just say they gave you $5, right? So now you have $2,005 in your account. Compounded means the next month when they pay you interest, they don't take it from there, they take it from what you have now. They compounded it, all right? So now that they add, let's just say another 5 on. Now you have $2,010. So the next month, the third month, they're gonna take the interest from here, not from the original. It keeps compounding each time. This is just linear. I'm making this easy, all right? So just ignore that. This is going to be exponential because we're dealing with a percent and we're going to multiply by the percent. Okay, so you've done plenty of these. It's interest, so you're adding it onto your money. You're getting extra. So it's not taking it away from 100, it's adding it on. So first you're gonna add on your interest to your original. So you do the 100 plus the 2.3 would be 102.3%. Then you get rid of your percent, you move it twice to the left and get 1.023. This is going to be your common ratio. It's just the way you've been doing the problems before. Common ratio. Okay, so your A sub n is equal to, you're starting with $2,000. Your common ratio is 1.023 to the n power, because this is your 0. Time hasn't started yet. So you're going to use your n. This is your y-intercept. And then you're going to figure out after 6 years. Okay, so pause and do that now. So you're back, you do A sub 6 equals 2,000, parentheses 1.023, raised to the 6th power, and we're going to round that to the nearest cent. So, clear, 2,000, parentheses 1.023, close it, raise it to the 6th power, enter, and I get, sorry, there's like a glare here, 2,292.3, but you're rounding it to the nearest cent. All right, nearest cent. So it's 0.36. So you would go to the hundredths place. So if this is 6 and there's a 5 after, you make that 37. So it would be oops. All right, so it's going to be 2,292.37 dollars, and that's to the nearest cent. All right, that's how much you would have in your account. So you put in $2,000, and 6 years later you have $2,292. So just for keeping it in there, you made an extra almost $300 on your money. All right, and that's how you do a compound interest. All right, do your homework. You're not getting classwork, you're working off your homework. These are examples to help you with homework tonight. Have a great day.